doing?
Sorry.
So then that meant that did the woman end up having to teach the medicine and stuff?
It was more of a matriarch society. Because the women could choose their husbands.
Yeah. Could we have more than one?
No.
Oh.
One at a time.
Really?
But through a lifetime, they might have 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because if that husband doesn't come back,
Yeah.
or if he's being unruly or whatever, they can kick him out of the
And divorce is a very simple procedure for the Cherokee traditionally.
Yeah.
Because the man goes to live in the woman's home, her family's home.
Yeah.
So divorce, she takes all of his stuff, gathers it up into a basket, puts it outside the door. Divorce.
Yes.
They're done. Yes.
I like that.
They're
That sounds
done.
like a cheap and cost-effective
So, yes.
So a lot of the medicine that the Cherokee medicine men used, and we didn't have what you call shaman. We had the women that were some of the, but they have to do it here now. This time in 2018, 2000s, should be full blood and taught by full blood to do it. I've known some that are less than that try to do it, but if they don't go and get that all their stuff blessed by full blood,
that's not right. But that's
No.
interesting, eh? I'm just making sure I've got this all right. I was saying I'm still learning how to use this thing, so you're allowed to laugh at me. I'm standing. I know I've pressed the button that records. I think that's a really good start. I might bring it a bit closer so that the microphone. Well, no, because I was thinking the microphone is the important part, really, because it's your voices, eh? So, and I was thinking because the air conditioning. So if it's
I was
close.
just thinking, should I turn that off?
Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Oh yeah.
You're not going to all.
Melt.
Okay, what if I'm that? No, I'm kidding. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So there you go. I'll stand here so you've got a focus, shall I? I'm just going to go sit over there. So thank you so much for participating. It's such a, I think, important thing to try to help young children with these issues, and you've all worked in it your whole lives, and this Oaks mission is just incredible. So I'm just going to hand over to you to introduce yourselves and basically tell my mother and grandchildren all about it. Knowing that some of the children, some of the children in our family have had struggles with alcohol and drug and mental health, and like every family, we try to figure out ways to help them. Boy, I'd love to have come here when I was a kid. This place is great. So thank you for letting us be here. Kia ora. That's our word for hello. Thank you. All right.
Cherokee, it's what.
Wado.
Yes.
Oseo.
OCO is high.
Hello. Yes.
Or the short version.
But
CO.
CO.
Yo.
That's how I always.
It's sort of the difference between hello and hi here.
Well,
Yes.
what about Wado? Yes, shorten Wado to what? Wado?
We're down.
It's a little unnecessary.
Wado is.
Yeah.
Just Wado.
Yeah, Wado is the pronunciation. At least that's the pronunciation in syllabary Cherokee. But every area here has a slightly different dialect. The dialect here, it's more Wadan.
Wado.
Yeah, Wadan. Yeah, and so that's the way I always heard it.
Which is thank you.
Which is thank you.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. I think it's me interrupting you again. So
When you say CO to someone, the other one would report. They would speak back another, but I never could understand why. Maybe it says the same thing back, but they don't say the same thing back.
yeah.
What is it? It's window. CO.
Yeah.
Tohija.
Hey John, how are you?
Tohija.
Yeah, how are you?
John?
Hey John. Yeah.
Tohija.
And
That's
Yeah.
Osta.
Yeah. Osta is good.
Osta.
Yeah. And if you're speaking to a group of people, is to hey John naga, and that's how are you? How are you, everyone?
Yeah.
So,
John.
OCO to hey John naga is hi. How was everyone doing? In local. In southern slang, it'd be hi. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
So.
How y'all doing?
Yeah.
But in the Cherokee language, how that's translated in English is, may not be the same thing that's in our syllabary.
Yeah, subject and predicate are
Yes.
inverted, much like Spanish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Funnily enough, same as Māori.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. It's only English. It's back to France.
How do you read Chinese and Japanese? This way? No. It goes up.
It's
Goes up and
up and
down,
down, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this way.
Yes.
This way.
Yeah.
So English is the only language that's backwards,
There's
huh?
other way.
Well, and
Just kidding.
Hebrew is read right to left.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Same with Arabic.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's only English is backwards.
Chinese,
Yes.
Japanese is up long ways.
Well, you know, we drive on the wrong side of the road and the wrong side of the car,
Yeah.
and it's only the English countries that
I've
do
always
that.
thought about that. I wonder if you could get stopped if you had a steering wheel on the other side of the car.
Yeah.
Could you?
Yeah, I suppose you could, yeah.
Yeah, I think you have to have special permission, but you know how many times since I've been here I've got on the passenger side of the car and gone, where's my steering wheel?
Gone.
Yeah. Here's what the danger would be here, especially in these rural areas. The police officer, if he had to stop you for some reason, would not want to get on the side side of the car.
Yeah.
Because he's near.
But we're opposite side of the car and opposite side of the road.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So it all works out.
Yeah,
we're
yes,
still
yes.
still right by the white line when we're
Right,
driving,
yes.
or yellow line in your case,
Right.
I think.
Yes.
Anyway, I'm
That's true.
rabbiting. I'll let you
So
introduce
I'll let you
yourselves.
start.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Jack Kelley. I'm Cherokee, and I've had the experiences of being a resident here at the Oaks Mission. Also, spent 6 years in school here, graduated from Oaks, and got an opportunity because of the Lutheran ministry and the church to go to college. And I went to college in called Lindsborg, Kansas, Lutheran College. And we think, well, why would you go to a Lutheran college? You know, well, I was brought up Lutheran from the time I was 12 till I, graduated. But thinking back in it, Moravians and Danish Lutherans that started the mission, they were Lutheran. Moravians aren't Lutheran, but they still did the ministry. But it's almost the same type of ministry that the Lutherans used. The Danish Lutheran and the Lutheran we got now is pretty much just what basically came out of Europe.
Right, yeah.
Because those just weren't established here yet. They were getting them established. So new place here in Oaks is actually a new established community in the early 1800s, well before the Trail of Tears. But because they had an opportunity with the Moravians to build a mission here, churches, school, a small town, villages. They really weren't. They were still a village, but they were actual regular housing instead of the wooden, slats that they've got now.
Yeah.
You were at the village in Tahlequah.
Yeah.
You can see the different levels. By the 1900s or late 1800s, they got the more modern township there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what.
Board and batten and stuff, yeah, it was
Yeah.
really pretty.
Yeah, you go.
But I
You go
liked the
from
mud ones better.
you go from the ancient to the middle, and then all the way to the modern.
Yeah.
And again, we had the longhouses. You had again, like I said, the Cherokee tribe. Most of the teachings and education and medicine came from a lot of the women, grandmothers, because they were the ones that were still there to help teach and be strong. So there's a lot of women. There are several women that are still practicing that medicine, but now a lot of them do it through their arts and crafts. We have several older women here in Oklahoma. Even we had some here in Oaks that a few have passed away, and some still here that still do artwork. They paint, they draw, they do make baskets. Cherokees were not so much in the beadwork sense, but they would get shells and make things out of different kind of shells because they were close to that type of material well before they ever had glass beads or plastic beads because they weren't invented yet. So we use shells or seeds, maybe some type of seed, berries. After they dried them, they would use them to make different kinds of crafts out of them.
Beautiful. I've seen some of that work, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Now, through history, there's some belts that first came out, and I don't know, I heard different tribes have them. Iroquois, Mohawk, different ones. They have what's called Seneca. They have Mohawk, the wampum belts.
Yep.
They're beaded belts that tell a story,
Yeah.
It's essentially our history.
a history of the Native American. The Cherokees have theirs too, and they're 1,000 years old.
Yeah, there are belts that are up
Oh. Way
to
before.
1,000 years old.
Wow. I've seen pictures of them.
Yeah.
Old black and white pictures of them, but boy.
Yeah, the one gentleman at the Heritage Center that outside that did stickball. I don't know if you saw him.
Yeah.
Those were his color. Those were his family's colors, and I think they just said for Father's Day they just gave him a new set. So the ones that he wears around him are his. He's pretty. He's
Where you went to the stomp dance
Yes.
there
Yeah.
with their families.
Yeah.
One of their family has one of those belts.
Yeah.
It's they through heritage they've been able to keep it
Wow.
because it's handed down to them through 7 generations, 8 generations.
Yeah.
There's several tribes. Well, Seneca's one of them, and also the Iroquois.
Yeah.
They want to make the lives for their next several generations to continue.
Yeah.
And the only way you can continue that is by teaching, and also a lot of the laws and things that became what you would call rules, regulations. You know, Cherokees had theirs, and some of the other Indian tribes in the East did too.
Yeah.
That's where part of our United States Constitution and government came from.
Yeah.
The beginning of it.
Yeah.
Think of it as a family crest that each generation gets to add a piece to the crest.
Yeah.
That's and so it would be a very large crest. So ours just is an extended, linear belt that just continues. So
Wow. That's a good way of putting it. They are beautiful.
And how we are able to get the children here in this part of Oaks and around this area to be heard, we have to contact storytellers to come to, because we don't know all the stories.
Wow.
We like to,
Yeah.
but I don't know. But there's no. They've tried to write a book about several of the different stories.
Yeah.
But the way they're written out and the way they present them, they're a little more English than they are Cherokee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when the storyteller tells the stories, you might get the book and it's going to say that ain't what this book says.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a different translation from that Cherokee storytelling
Yeah.
to the English language.
And every child's going to hear a story better than perhaps reading it. Hey?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he was raised by his grandma. And
Full blood Cherokee
Yeah.
grandmother lived in the hillsides of Oklahoma, off of Highway 62. And it was nothing but back in the 30s and 40s. There was nothing in this area to work, no kind of work for this part of Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Delaware, Cherokee, Adair, Arkansas. There was no work, so they all had to find ways to make a living. And after after World War II and the Korean War, they replaced the Cherokees and different Native Americans to other parts of the country. Most of them went to West Coast for jobs. But as they got them prepared to learn a craft, they didn't teach them some of the basic essential things they needed to learn in the social life
Yeah.
of that part of the country.
It must
Because
have been strange.
here you're a little close. If you're with family, you're closer with family.
Yeah.
There, you're on your own. You learn to make friends, be wherever you're working, go to school, different things. Then you learn how to be a part of that group.
Yeah.
But you're still not their family.
Yeah. That's tough.
And that's one of the things that I told you earlier, that here, when the original full-bloods didn't want their children leaving Oaks or this part of Oklahoma, because like I told you, they're afraid it would never come back,
Yeah.
because they would think, well, I don't have any reason to come back,
but we came back.
and but that's a characteristic of native tribes in general. Is once they get to adulthood, they don't travel far from home
Yeah.
for school or anything like that. Melessa and I are exceptions to that rule. And by the way, my name is Jay Kelley. Given name is Jack Kelley Jr., first issue of Jack and Luann Kelley. I grew up here in Oaks from the time I was in 7th grade, 13 years old, until I graduated high school from here. And then I went off to college in the state of Iowa to also a Lutheran school, Wartburg College. Got my degree in history and education. And I spent a number of years away from here. I worked and taught for 5 years on the Standing Rock Reservation in North Dakota. A couple of years I was in Missouri, or Missouri, depending on which part of the state you're from, and taught there for a couple of years. Returned home here for a few years. Worked at the Oaks Indian Mission as a house parent, but I also was a teacher and a coach up at the public school. The past 15 years I've been back in the state of Iowa, and I taught and coached there, and then ventured out into the business world for a while. Worked in banking, worked in elder care, but in the last year I decided it was time to return home. That call to home has been there for a long time. It's rare that you see someone who is from a native that's from an area that they venture out into different parts of the country. I did it, and Melessa, who's about to introduce herself, also did it. So,
Yes. And I'm Melessa Kelley, their middle child. I also grew up here from the 3rd grade and graduated from high school here. And by the way, he didn't mention that we were all tops of our classes. He was valedictorian, he was salutatorian, and I was valedictorian.
Wow.
I was salutatorian.
And he was only what, like 0.3?
0.03.
0.03.
I got beat out of that valedictorian by John Quick, Janet Osborne, who I tutored. I tutored her in algebra and geometry, and I got, for some reason, I don't know how she got. Well, I know what happened. After my sophomore junior year, I took some classes that I thought I needed for college level, which would have been chemistry, physics, algebra 2, and I took chemistry. The teacher that was teaching that course said, "You've been gone 4 weeks." So I missed almost 4 weeks of school. I was in California with my mother, and I came back because I wanted to come back and finish school here at Oaks. And I don't know what made me think, well, and he says, "Well, you don't have to take this class because we're already 4 weeks ahead of you. I can't give you can't make up that work in 4 weeks." I said, "Well, I'll start from right here." I said, "Well, for 4 weeks, I'll have to give you a 0. So I ended up at the end of the year with a C in that class.
Wow.
But because I started with a 0,
Yeah.
I was able to climb from a 0 up to a C, and that's not easy.
That's not easy.
You go from 0 to 75 or 80.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Especially
That's
with
long.
chemistry.
Yeah.
And then anyway, I did part of my prerequisites for nursing at Northeastern State University, just down the road, which I don't know if you got to go by there or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you get to see our original Indian hospital too?
Is that cool?
The optometry building.
It's the
now the
optometry school now.
optometry building.
Yes.
Maybe when we drive back on Friday, it'll
Yeah.
depend on which way we go back, I can show you. And then I went to nursing school at Bacone in Muskogee, Oklahoma, which now is mostly tribal. Now back then it was intermixed, but I went to school there. And then about 99, I decided to venture down to Florida. I moved down to Florida, and I actually worked at a hospital there from 2000 until 2016 at that hospital. But I did my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and then my PhD at Florida Atlantic University with Dr. Lowe, and that's how I actually ended up meeting him. And I actually got excited about hearing about these nurses coming back to Oklahoma, and they're like, a lot of my students or people, my classmates didn't understand. They were like, "Well, why would you want to go on a trip to go back to Oklahoma when you live there?" I said, "Because this is my opportunity to go back and show, or talk to kids about their opportunities that they can go out and do this too." So when I did my presentation with them here at the school at Oaks, I told them I was a graduate from here. I went to high school here, and you can do the same thing, you know. And I've traveled. I went down to Florida, and they're like, "Wow, really?" And I was like, "Yes," and you can do that too. And because that's something that they always instilled in us from being little, that, you know, you can be anything you want to be. You can go anywhere, and don't ever let anyone tell you any different. So it was just, even with these kids, that was the same message I gave to them. Don't ever let anyone tell you you can't do something or be somebody, because it's just that little seed of hope. So each time when we bring the nurses back, that's that one thing, and we always remind them that even with these kids, it may not be, you might not see like a huge difference, but it may just be one that you instill that hope in them to keep going. And you know, they're very proud that they have someone from this community that has a PhD, has a doctorate. And obviously the first in my family, so.
First in village.
First in the village here.
Yeah, my oldest son and my daughter,
Yeah.
they're the example that you can go anywhere in the United States, and they've been everywhere in the United States. But you also know where you can come back to be a part. Again, when I was talking about the Cherokee family that you're a part of, people, they don't want them to leave because they're afraid they're going to break away. They want to keep that circle. You know, here when I came to Oaks, I felt that way about the elders that were here, Tuckers, Robbins. There were several others that they took you in as family. In California, when I lived there, well, I wasn't there long enough to be an adult. I was there until I was 11 years old. You just felt like you're part, friends, and that's it. Here, they include you as family. And Jay knows that because he's half Tucker too.
Yeah. And the family, the Tucker family, the patriarch of that family was a gentleman by the name of Charlie Tucker. And he was one of the first graduates of whenever Oaks had a public school in 1928. And after he graduated, he remained part of the community. The director of the home at that time, the Oaks Indian Mission, he also had cattle and some agricultural operations, and he became the supervisor of and ran his cattle operations. They cut out a piece of the mission property so that he could build a home on here, and that home still exists down there, and his daughter and some of his grandchildren and great-grandchildren still live there.
Wow.
And the public park in town is named for him, and the football field of the school is named for him. He was a member of the school board.